Hello, dear friends. Myself, Dr. Surekha Jaiswal, Head Department of Physics, Moreshwar Arts, Science and Commerce College, Bhopardhan. Today we will see non-conventional energy sources and optical fiber. Course code PHY 306, paper number 20, semester 6. Now today's contents are semiconductor, intrinsic semiconductor, extrinsic semiconductor, N-type extrinsic semiconductor and P-type extrinsic semiconductor and p-n junction, formation of depletion layer of p-n junction or barrier voltage. Now see semiconductor. The base conductor silver, copper and gold have one valence electron, whereas the base insulators have 8 valence electron. A semiconductor is an element with electric properties between those of an conductor and an insulator, and therefore base semiconductors silicon and germanium have 4 valence electrons. Various favorable characteristics of silicon have made it the semiconductor of choice. It is the most abundant element on earth after oxygen. However, the refining process is costly. An isolated silicon atom has 14 protons and 14 electrons. The outermost orbit, valence orbit, contains 4 electrons. When silicon atoms combine to form a solid, they arrange themselves into an orderly pattern called a crystal. Each silicon atom shares its electrons with 4 neighboring atoms in such a way as to have 8 electrons in its valence orbit. Thus, each pair of electrons belong to two neighboring atoms and are attracted by them with equal and opposite forces, which keeps them bonded together. Such a chemical bond is known as covalent bond. This covalent bond holds the crystal together and gives it solidity. We know the semiconducting materials like silicon and germanium. The base conductors are silver, copper and gold. At absolute zero temperature, a semiconductor is a perfect insulator with no charge carriers available for conduction of current. However, when temperature is increased, the vibration of atoms can occasionally displace an valence electron from the valence orbit. The displaced electron is known as free electron, and the valence vacancy thus created in the valence orbit is known as a hole. So, with the breaking of a covalent bond, a free electron hole pair is produced. At room temperature, thermal energy produces only a few electron hole pairs. Electron hole pairs can also be produced by imparting energy by some other means such as light, photons. In pure silicon crystal, thermal energy creates equal number of free electrons and holes. The free electron moves randomly throughout the crystal. Occasionally, a free electron will approach a hole, feel its attraction, and fall into it. This merging of free electrons and hole is known as recombination, and the amount of time between creation and disappearance due to recombination of an electron hole pair is called lifetime. It varies from a few nanoseconds to several microseconds depending on how perfect the crystal is and also some other factor. At any instant, following condition exists within the silicon crystal. Some free electron holes are being created and some free electron holes are being combined. Some free electrons and holes exist temporarily awaiting recombination. A silicon crystal is intrinsic if every atom in the crystal is a silicon atom. Now, extrinsic semiconductor. These are the impure form of semiconductor material formed by adding either pentavalent or trivalent impurity into a pure semiconductor atom. Extrinsic semiconductor divided into two types: N type extrinsic semiconductor and P type extrinsic semiconductor. N type extrinsic semiconductor form when pentavalent impurities are doped, and P type extrinsic semiconductor form when trivalent impurities are doped. Now, intrinsic semiconductor. These are the chemically pure form of semiconductor materials formed by tetravalent atoms or group 4 elements contain 4 electrons in its valence shell. For example, silicon and germanium. We know tetravalent atom or group 4 elements contains 4 electrons in its valence shell. Now, in figure shows the crystal lattice structure of silicon. See in figure that shows the crystal lattice structure of silicon. Here each silicon atom form covalent bond with the other silicon atom present in its neighboring areas, and if do we so by making use of electrons present in valence shell. These electrons in the valence shell of silicon atom forms covalent bond with its neighboring silicon atom, and at room temperature these electrons are bounded closely with each other. But once some external heat is provided, these electrons gain sufficient energy and lose its position, and at that particular point of time a vacancy of electrons is created, which is termed as hole. However, this movement of electron generates conduction through semiconductor. Now, figure shows energy level diagram of intrinsic semiconductor. Basically, electrons are present in valence band. See in figure here. The electrons are present in valence band, but once some external heat is provided, so with the increase in temperature, these electrons get free and moves to conduction band. thereby causing conducting to increase, and this causes resistance of semiconductor to decrease. Basically, this band gap is nothing but that particular energy which is required to get the electron free. With further increase in temperature, more electron from valence band move to conduction band, thereby increasing the conduction of the device. Now see N-type extrinsic semiconductor. N-type extrinsic semiconductor is formed pentavalent impurity atom, that is phosphorus is doped. It is also known as donor impurity due to presence of extra free electron. N-type extrinsic semiconductor are formed when pentavalent impurity or group 5 element are doped into a pure semiconducting material. For example, antimony, bismuth or phosphorus. Now we have used a phosphorus atom to be added into a pure silicon structure as shown in figure. That figure shows here the phosphorus atom to be added into a pure silicon structure. We know that group 5 element contains 5 electrons in its valence shell. So, the 4 electrons of phosphorus form 4 covalent bond with its neighboring silicon atom. But still a free electron is left which is unbounded and is responsible for conduction. Further, when some external heat is provided, like in case of intrinsic semiconductor, electron breaks the covalent bond and leaves its positive vacant, thereby creating a hole. Over these somewhat increase the conducting level of semiconductor, more in case of extrinsic semiconductor. Now figure shows energy level diagram. Energy level of free electron present in the crystal. These electrons have sufficient energy even at room temperature in order to reach the conduction band and thereby decreasing the resistance and increasing the conductivity. Now see p-type semiconducting material. Trivalent impurity atom, that is boron, is doped. It is also known as acceptor impurity due to presence of extra hole. In figure, we added boron as we know, group 3 elements have 3 electrons in its valence shell. So the 3 electrons present in the valence shell of boron forms covalent bond with 3 silicon atom, but still a vacancy of hole is created over here due to the absence of fourth valence electron in the valence shell of boron atom. When some external heat is provided, then the bounded electron gains sufficient energy and tries to fill the vacant position. and movement of electron generates conduction. Figure shows energy level diagram for p-type extrinsic semiconductor. At absolute zero temperature, a semiconductor is a perfect insulator with no charge carriers available for conduction of current. Now, one way to increase the conductivity of a semiconductor is by adding impurity atoms to intrinsic semiconductor. The process is known as doping. The doped semiconductor is called extrinsic semiconductor. When the doping atom is pentavalent such as arsenic, antimony or phosphorus, one extra electron will be left unattached to any atom after sharing 4 electrons with neighboring 4 silicon atom in the crystal. Thus each pentavalent atom donates one free electron and therefore are known as donors, and the doped semiconductor material is known as N-type semiconductor. In the same manner, when the doping atom is a trivalent such as aluminium, boron and gallium, one electron vacancy hole will remain after sharing in its 3 electron with the neighboring 4 silicon atoms in crystal. Therefore, trivalent doping elements are also known as acceptor, and the doped semiconductor material is known as p-type semiconductor. In n-type semiconductor, free electrons are in majority, while in p-type semiconductor holes are in majority. By regulating the level of doping, the electrical properties of the doped material are controlled. A lightly doped semiconductor has high resistance and a highly doped semiconductor has low resistance. The behavior of semiconductor can be best explained with the help of quantum theory. To a good approximation, we can identify total energy of an electron with the size of its orbit. That is, we can think of each radius of an orbit as equivalent to an energy level. Since an electron is attracted by the nucleus, extra energy is needed to lift an electron into a larger orbit. Some of the external energy sources that can lift the electron to higher energy levels are heat, light, and voltage. In isolated silicon atom, the orbit of an electron is influenced only by the changes of the atom. Figure shows different energy levels of various electrons by respective lines. When silicon atoms are in crystal, the orbit of each electron is also influenced by charges of many other silicon atoms around it. Since each atom has a unique position inside the crystal, now two electrons at the same orbital level but belonging to different atoms see exactly the same pattern of surrounding charges. Therefore, for silicon atom of the whole crystal, the radius of each electron of same orbit is slightly different, and hence the energy levels of corresponding orbit for every orbit there are billions of slightly different energy levels that forms a cluster or band of energy levels corresponding to each other. These energy bands are shown in figure. When an electron in valence band receives sufficient energy to overcome energy gap, e.g., seen figure, that energy gap is here denoted by Eg. It jumps to next higher band known as conduction band. So that is a conduction band as shown in figure, leaving behind a hole in valence band. No conduction is possible if all states within an energy band are occupied or when all states are empty. Now see p-n junction. We have already discussed about p-type and n-type semiconductor in previous section. As a matter of fact, the p-type and n-type semiconductor taken separately are of little use in actual practice. If we join a piece of p-type material, semiconducting material, to a piece of n-type semiconducting material such that the crystal structure remain continuous at the boundary as shown in figure. In figure, p-n junction is formed. Such a p-n junction form a very useful device and is called a semiconductor diode. P-n junction diode or simply crystal diode. It will be interesting to know that a p-n junction cannot be formed by simply joining or welding the two pieces together because it would produce a discontinuous crystal structure. Special fabrication techniques are used to prepare p-n junction. The p-n junction itself is an important device. Beside these, all semiconductor devices contain at least one p-n junction. Therefore, it is very important to understand behavior of a p-n junction when connected in an electric circuit. Now, formation of depletion layer in p-n junction. Figure shows a semiconducting material consisting of p-n junction, which has been just formed. It may be noted that this entire sample is a single crystal. Its left half is a p-type and the right half is n-type. The p region has holes as majority carriers and negatively charged impurity atoms called negative ions or acceptor ions. The n region has free electrons as majority carriers and positively charged impurities atom called positive ions or donor ions. The minority carriers in the p and n regions are not shown just for simplicity. We know that holes and electrons are mobile charges and therefore are known as mobile charge carriers. On the other hand, positive and negative ions are immobile charges and therefore do not take part in the conduction. The sample as a whole is electrically neutral and so are the p and n regions considered separately. Thus, in p region, the total positive charge on the holes is equal to the total negative charge on free electrons and immobile ions. Similarly, in the n region, the total negative charge on free electrons is equal to the total positive charge on holes and immobile ions. It may be noted that no external voltage has been connected to p-n junction of figure shows. As soon as the junction is formed, the conduction and valence band of p and n type material overlap. As a result of this, the following process takes place. The holes from the p region, see here that shown here, that is holes, that holes from the p region diffuse to the n region where they combine with free electrons, and the free electrons from the n region diffuse to the p region where they combine with the holes, and the diffusion of holes from p region to n region and free electron from n region to p region takes place due to the reason that there is a difference of concentration in the two regions. That is, the P region has more number of holes, whereas N region has more number of free electrons. This difference in concentration create a concentration gradient across the junction. It results in the diffusion of mobile charge carriers across the junction. Moreover, the electrons and holes move at random in all directions due to thermal energy. In doing so, some carriers manage to cross over the junction. The diffusion of holes and free electron across the junction takes place for a short time. After few recombination of holes and free electrons in the vicinity of the junction, a restarting force is automatically set up, and this force is produced due to depletion region which exists on either side of the junction. As a result of this, further diffusion of holes and free electron from one region to other is stopped by this depletion layer. The formation of this depletion layer is explained below. We know that as soon as the PN junction is formed, some of the holes in P region and the free electrons in the N region diffuse with each other and disappear due to recombination, as shown in figure B. See in figure B. In this process, the negative acceptor ions in the P region and positive donor ions in the N region are left uncovered or uncompensated. In the vicinity of junction as shown in figure, the additional holes trying to diffuse to the N region are repelled by the uncovered positive charge of the donor ions. Similarly, the electrons trying to diffuse into the P region are repelled by the uncovered negative charge of the acceptor ions. As a result of this, the further diffusion of free the region containing the uncovered acceptor and donor ions in the vicinity of the junction is called the depletion region. Since the region has immobile or fixed ions which are electrically charged, therefore the depletion region is also known as space charge region. Moreover, as the uncovered charges within the depletion region exist in the form of parallel rows or plates of opposite charges, therefore it's known as depletion layer. And the depletion layer behave like an insulator because of this presence of rows and of fixed charges. The depletion layer possesses capacitance. It will be interesting to know that the width of the depletion layer depends upon the doping level of the impurity in N-type or P-type semiconductor, and the higher the doping level, the thinner will be the depletion layer and vice versa. It is due to the fact that a highly doped PN junction contains a large number of electrons and holes. Because of this, a diffusing charge carriers, either free electron or hole, has not to travel across the junction for recombination. Junction or barrier voltage. We have already discussed in the last article that the depletion layer of PN junction has no mobile charge carriers, but it contains fixed rows of oppositely charged ions on its two sides. Because of this charge separation, an electric potential design as VB is establishes across the junction even when the junction is not connected to any external voltage source as shown in figure. This electric potential is called junction or potential barrier. It will be interesting to know that this potential barrier exerts a repelling force on the mobile charge carriers trying to cross over the junction. This force stops the mobile charge carriers to cross over the junction unless the energy is supplied from an external source. At room temperature, that is at 300 Kelvin, the value of Vb equal to zero point 0.7 for silicon and zero point 0.3 for germanium. Thank you.